Hi, I'm Riley McManus. Welcome to Word for Word, where we offer you an in-depth look at some of our interviews with newsmakers from across the region. You'll have the opportunity to hear word for word how they responded to the news of the day. Reactions of a new Thunder Bay police chief continue. Longtime RCMP officer Darcy Fleury is who has been selected to lead the force. The decision was announced Tuesday by Police Board Administrator Malcolm Mercer. Anna Betty Achny-Penescom has been critical of the Thunder Bay Police Force in the past. We were able to catch up with Achny-Penescom to hear her views.
The Thunder Bay Police Service recently announced the new chief of police. Can I just get your immediate thoughts on that?
Well, I had an opportunity to see the resume of Darcy Fleury. He's coming from the RCMP with 36 years of experience, which is quite impressive. We certainly applaud and appreciate all the individuals who did apply for the chief of police, knowing that it was going to be coming with an abundance of challenges. And so we look forward to meeting with the chief of police and continuing the relationship. The Anishinaabe Nation has taken a very strong position in terms of the implementation of the Broken Trust Report and other reports that have taken place in the last decade. So we've taken that position. We're going to be certainly monitoring, evaluating, and we will see how it goes.
And before, you've mentioned about the disbandment of the Thunder Bay Police. You've talked about that before. But with this new chief of police who does have Indigenous roots, are you, I guess, more willing to give him a chance?
Well, we certainly have to, right? We have to trust that that administrator that was appointed, as well as the expert panel and all those that have been involved, are committed, and that they have strongly, as well, taken that position that the new chief of police will have to have a good working relationship with the First Nations people of Thunder Bay.
And he mentioned in an interview today that right when he gets there, he wants to meet community members and be able to get to know community members. And are you willing to meet him face to face and talk to him?
Yes. About an hour ago, I had a conversation with the acting chief of police, Dan Taddeo, and that was a conversation that we've had. So we look forward to that meeting, and as well as including other First Nation leadership that are heavily invested in terms of ensuring that there is accountability and that there is a transparency process, and as well as embracing and implementation of those particular reports that we have, that we've noted. And also, we're still, as I said, if we're going to continue to monitor, and we still are in that position that if it doesn't improve, and we have trust that, we have to have trust that it will improve. We'll certainly continue with that position that with a disbandment of the Thunder Bay Police if things do not improve. But we have faith that it will.
A decision at Monday night's City Council meeting means administration will create a list of surplus city-owned lands to encourage housing development. The motion was brought forward by Councillor Casey Atrani. City Realty Manager Joel DePuter explains that while the city is already putting efforts into finding affordable housing, this report will complement that work.
And I guess obviously council pushed this forward regarding looking at, let's just go through it quick, parking lots, open spaces, parkettes, all along those lines. Now that that has been pushed forward, what does that mean for Realty? What is this report going to entail once it comes back to council?
Yeah, so looking at properties that might be surplus to the city's needs, that's an ongoing effort. It's a core purpose of the division, and your council's expressed particular interest in looking for lands that may be available for housing, and looking at lands that particularly underutilized parking areas that may be driving operating costs and capital costs that could be better purposed to housing and keeping people homed and perhaps generating taxes as well.
And something you touched on a bit during the meeting was, like you said, there are ongoing efforts for something similar to this. How does this motion maybe differ from what's already being done?
Yeah, I think where this differs is particular aim on housing. Focused on housing, so the city is also at the same time undertaking a housing study to ensure that there is sufficient available land, and I think this strengthens that work, right? So there's also a lot of focus on making good use of the services that are available, the existing infrastructure. So always good to unlock properties that may not currently be available.
I know you might not have taken a close look through every property on the list, but based on your knowledge of what is available out there, how much potential is there to create additional housing stock in core areas with city-owned land?
Well, the city actually has a pretty substantial inventory of lands in downtown Fort William, and some of those have already been declared surplus. There may be more that are available. I think in that particular case, there's some strategy work that's needed, right? The areas in need of good, strong housing and some quality development.
And what about? We've heard some developers come before council in the past and say, yeah, there might be lots available in downtown areas, but it's not as attractive to develop, one or two lots at a time. Do you think there would be private sector interest in some of that land?
Well, the city does sell larger parcels from time to time. At one time, it had considerable inventory of lands that have since been developed for different forms of multiple residential. In the past, there has been interest there. And sometimes it takes time, and that's the nature of that kind of business.
My last question would be, sorry, I know you're about to go there, but you probably got a couple more. Obviously, we're talking about affordable housing in this scenario. That was brought up by quite a few councillors this evening, and it's part of Councillor Trainee's motion as well. If we are selling certain plot land, if the city is, are there ways of ensuring developers are making affordable housing on these plots rather than, luxury condos, as something along those lines?
Well, a tool that the municipality has available to is request proposals. So that's something that we anticipate would be done on perhaps the most significant properties, to request proposals and see what the optimum development may be. And once again, recognizing that could take time. There are sites that are, let's say, more ready to be developed than others.
But I guess, is it fair to say the city does have tools available if it wanted to, say, set like a minimum of affordable housing content kind of requirement or something like that?
There are development covenants that can be entered into, and that's I think that some of that remains to be seen as we do the work.
I guess my last question on this is just, the parkland and parking lots part has attracted more attention. I guess those are spaces that are a bit more visible to the public and they're aware of more than just, say, a vacant lot. How common is it that the city would sell off either parking land or parkland for housing? Has that happened before in your experience?
In my experience, there have been parking lots that have been disposed of that were perhaps underutilized. I guess that parkland be sold. That is not very usual, but I think that there's interest in looking at the inventory and seeing if there's spaces that are underutilized, or perhaps there's adequate substitute or duplication.
A local disability advocate wants the city to improve its process for clearing sidewalks for pedestrians following a snowstorm. Tracy Hurlbert says there are still sidewalks that haven't been fully cleared, which forces her and others with disabilities onto the street.
So, it recently snowed a lot. Can we just, I guess, talk a little bit about the condition of the sidewalks?
Yeah, the condition of the sidewalk. Where are the sidewalks? There's still a lot of snow on a lot of sidewalks. But I understand the city's problem too is that they don't have enough people to do the jobs. We have a lot of empty jobs out there. But the sidewalks need to be plowed faster if possible. We've got people with walkers, people in wheelchairs, people with strollers, and even just the general public pedestrians walking on the road now because the sidewalks aren't clear enough for them.
And you mentioned you sometimes have to go on the road to get around.
I do, and I hate it, but I have to go on the road. And what I hate most about being on the road is a lot of city drivers are not prepared for us. They don't know where we are. I go as close as possible to the curb, and sometimes that's not very close because the roads aren't plowed very well either some places. So sometimes I am in the middle of the road, and I hate that too. But, please don't blame me for that. It is what it is. It's winter in the Northwest.
And have you contacted the city at all about some of these sidewalks not being plowed?
Yes, I have. This year, not so much because I understand the problem, again, with lack of workers and that. But I do contact them when a sidewalk really needs to be done, especially one that's traveled a lot by a lot of people with disabilities. But even if I see someone struggling with, a hand cart, they're trying to carry their newspapers and stuff, that's a lot of work to do when you got to go on the road. And it's not fun battling with the traffic too. And I'm trying to get people who are driving to understand that this is a situation we have every winter. You have to be prepared to find us on the road. And, don't cuss us out for being there. I mean, that's the way it is. I have no choice. And if I need to book Lyft to go somewhere, just even to the corner store, I'm not going to book Lyft to go 2 blocks to the corner store. I have to book that a week in advance and then have to know what time I want to go, how long I'm going to be there, and I have to plan what I'm going to buy, all that kind of stuff. Whereas if I'm just going for, a liter of milk, why don't I walk to the store? It's 2 blocks away.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to plan your whole day around doing something like that.
That's right. And I also don't want someone to have to miss, say, something important like a doctor's appointment because I'm going to get milk. And they need to go to the doctor's, and they're not going to miss their ride because I'm going to get milk.
And how has this year compared to previous years?
Well, this year we've had a lot more snow than previous years, and we have a lot fewer employees with the city as well. So sidewalks aren't being plowed as well as they could be or as fast as they could be. And when they take their time to do the sidewalks, especially when it's slushy out, it melts, and you have all these ruts in the sidewalk then, and you're trying to use your wheelchair, and you're just going up and down in the ruts, and you get slammed into the snowbank, you spin your chair. You can't go down a sidewalk like that. Someone with a walker, too, they're trying to go with their walker, and they're being, steered around all this stuff. It's not easy going down the sidewalks until they're cleared right down to the pavement.
I was going to say, how scary is something like that?
It's very scary, especially if I have to go down somewhere like Arthur Street or Victoria Avenue. I try to avoid those places like the plague if I can. Or even my own street. We get a lot of traffic coming down here now with construction going on. We have a lot of traffic coming down here. There are times when I'm worried about getting hit by a car because I can't go around something, and vehicles just don't understand. The drivers just don't get that I'm on the road for a reason. And there are some fools out there who still think it's fun to play chicken with me. And I sincerely hope one of them gets caught doing that because that's not funny and it's frightening. I have lights on my chair. I have a rear view mirror that I wear. I'm very safety conscious. I'm not out there playing chicken with the cars and having a good old time. I am actually very safety conscious. I have my lights. I have my rear view mirror. I'm very careful. I'm 55 years old. I'm not a child. I'm not playing in the traffic. And I'm very tall in my chair, too. I'm 4'5", I think, 4'6". So I'm the same height as maybe a grade 6 child, like maybe 10-year-old. So I'm not really, really short either. And there are some people who are very short in wheelchairs, and it is hard to see them. But look for them anyway, because they're out there. Not everybody's tall. And it's frightening enough for them being on the road, let alone, thinking they're going to get hit by a car. That's terrifying.
I guess, what are your advice to some of the drivers who are going out?
Use these two things right here and this thing right here. Look for us on the road and understand that we're not out there, having fun, joyriding on the road. We're out there because we have to be. Maybe there are some jokers out there who are out there having fun on the road, but most of us aren't. Most of us are trying to just get to where we're going, and we can't always book Lyft. Even people with walkers, they can't always book Lyft either. Some of us can, some of us can't. But some of us are trying to keep Lyft rides for those who really need them. And I am capable of taking Thunder Bay Transit. I can get on a city bus. Why should I take a Lyft ride that somebody else needs when I can usually go by Thunder Bay Transit? I keep my Lyft rides for things I have to be on time for. But if I can just go shopping or whatever, I'll take the bus. Leave that ride for someone who needs it.
And I guess, what are you hoping the city does? Or
I'm hoping that they can find some way to get the plowing done faster. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Maybe hire more companies to help out, or do something that they can. I understand there is a staff shortage, and you can't force people to come and work for you. But maybe they can hire more people out. See if they can get another company to come help out. That'd be a big help. And to do an information session, like a campaign for drivers and for people in wheelchairs and walkers, what is safe and what is not safe in the wintertime. Look out for people who have differences on the road, for pedestrians, for other people on the roads. Watch for us, and don't blame us for being on the road. And for people who use mobility devices, I think we need a safety campaign, because I've seen people going up the middle of the road, and there is plenty of room on the sides. There's, I can see that it's safe to go next to the curb, but they're using the regular public lanes and stuff like that. It's scary. But we need some safety campaigns going as to where we should be on the roads, and for drivers to look for us.
And those are actually all the questions I have. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Like I just said, be reasonable. We have to be on the roads. Sidewalks aren't always safe. Even in the summertime, sidewalks aren't always safe, and sometimes we do have to use the roads. And just look for us and be cognizant that we're out there.
Thanks for joining us for today's edition of Word for Word. We'll be back again tomorrow with more interviews from across the Northwest.